Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. Today I'm going to be painting some zombies for Dungeons & Dragons. These are from the Castle Ravenloft board game, and odd miniatures because I'm not actually sure they're zombies. The way they're dressed and their hair and facial features actually leads me to think they're actually Neanderthals that they've just called zombies for the sake of the game. I think they're repurposed miniatures. But regardless, we're painting them as zombies. It's also worth noting that you may spot a few gnarly mould lines on these miniatures because they are not cast very well. I've cleaned them up a bit, but they're not the best miniatures in the world. I'm doing a really quick paint job, so I didn't worry too much about that. But anyway, we are starting with a base coat of Corax White, and then we're going to go to Zandri Dust to do the hair. And because I'm painting 3 of these at once, there's going to be some minor colour variations between them. So I'm doing one with Zandri Dust hair, one's going to have Ulthuan Grey hair, and one is going to have Rakarth Flesh hair. And I'm just layering on a solid base coat of these, 2 coats in most cases. And anybody who watched my video on painting poxwalkers will notice that this is a very similar process for these zombies, but with a few differences. Okay, we're now switching to Rakarth Flesh, and I'm going to layer this all over the clothes. Again, with the different zombies, I've used different colours. I did 2 with Rakarth Flesh, and then I actually did 1 with a Zandri Dust clothing instead. And then we're going to Balthasar Gold, and that's because I'm going to do the cuff on the arm with Balthasar Gold, even though I think it's supposed to be like a leather cuff with maybe a fur trim to fit that Neanderthal theme, but it's hard to tell. The moulding's not great, the definition isn't really good, so I thought I would do Balthasar Gold. Maybe they're like gold armlets which have actually reanimated the corpses, something like that. So we're going to use Balthasar Gold, and we're going to put a single coat over the cuff on all 3 miniatures. We just need to be careful not to get it over the Corax White on the skin. And if we do, obviously you can touch that up with Corax White. We're now going to Reikland Fleshshade, and we're going to put a coat of this over the whole miniature. That's going to bring definition to the hair and the clothes, and it's also going to give the pale skin colour for all the flesh areas. And I'm not being too careful about this, but I don't want it to really pool too much in the recesses, so I am pulling it out of the recesses, making sure it goes on as a thin coat without gloops. I'm now switching to Athonian Camoshade, and I'm going to do spot shading with this. So on certain parts of the miniature, I'm just going to add a little Athonian Camoshade to get a hint of rot, basically. And then I'm switching to Seraphim Sepia, and I'm putting this on the bottom area of the clothes. I did this with the poxwalkers in my previous video, just to add sort of a filthy, dirty look to the bottom of the clothes. And now I'm going to Agrax Earthshade, and I'm putting that on the very bottom of the clothes to just represent where it's dragged in the dirt and the mud and it's got filthy. And we're also going to put a little bit of Agrax Earthshade on skin areas as well. It's going a little bit where the skin meets the clothes, and we're also going to put it all over the feet to make it look like he's been walking through dirt. And we're going to put a little bit on the hands as well. It's going to bring out some extra definition on those features, but also make it look a little bit like he's clawed his way out of a grave, maybe. But not being too careful about it. It doesn't need to be precise. We're now going to use Mephiston Red, and I'm using a dry brush, but I'm not actually dry brushing. I'm just lightly brushing on some red spatters. I'm using the dry brush because you get a more random spray type pattern when you run it over the miniature rather than using a nice neat brush. And obviously I'm just trying to make it look like the zombie has been ripping up some victims. And then I'm switching to Chestnut Ink, and Chestnut Ink is obviously out of production now, has been for a long time, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do when I run out of it, because I always put a little bit of thinned out Chestnut Ink over blood spatters, because it enriches the colour, and also it just makes it look more like blood. I'm not sure what to suggest as an alternative to Chestnut Ink. I haven't found one yet. I'm now going to Pallid Witch Flesh. I'm going to thin this out considerably, and I'm just going to dot in the eyes. You can do this two ways. You can put great big dots in for big wide staring eyes, but I have gone for very small pinpoints of Pallid Witch flesh to make it look like the very faintest glimmer of intelligence, perhaps some alien intelligence that is controlling the zombies, not the intelligence of the zombie itself. And that's all of them finished. All they're going to do now is get the base treatment, so Astrogranite, dry brush of Ulthuan Grey, and then Abaddon Black around the base, and they are done. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you've liked the video, please consider pressing that like button. If you really liked the video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so, and hopefully I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.